Hi, welcome to the Andrew Buckle book review of Invincible Iron Man Marvel Omnibus Volume 2. Just come out. It's got 848 pages and includes a lot of great stories and also a few duff stories as well. So let's go through various covers here. You can see all the way through, you can see all those, and that's what's included in this book. The covers, of course, and the stories. And you can see at the bottom it's got Tales of Suspense 84 to 99, Iron Man and Submariner 1, and the Invincible Iron Man 1 to 25. The stories cover the period about 1966 to 1970. So let's go through the book. Obviously, it's a lovely hardback volume, as all the omnibuses are. And you can see there, Iron Man, it's got details about the issues. Now, you can see there and there. It's real beautiful quality as usual. I always love Marvel omnibuses. I think DC ones have definitely improved recently, but many of my old DC ones are not so great. And you can see all the various artists, pencilers, inkers, letterers, etc. involved, as well as, of course, all the details there. And you can see who did the restoration as well, which is always a good thing. Now, this was printed in Turkey for people, obviously, during 2024. So let's just go through it. All these there, you can see all 1966, all the way through to 1970. And you've got an introduction, and then of course you've got the covers, always great. The covers, of course, sometimes are Captain America, sometimes obviously Iron Man. They shared the issue, so you can see there the first one there, the other Iron Man. At this point, of course, Tony Stark is under investigation. I think he was under investigation quite a lot, and of course he sometimes couldn't explain his disappearances, obviously confusing things, being Iron Man and Tony Stark as well. And you can see him whizzing around there, and who turns up? But our favourite, Mandarin, the good old Mandarin. Though I must admit, there doesn't seem to be much reference to his early times when the Mandarin met Tony Stark and Iron Man, but still. And also Iron Man, he spends a bit of time turning around thinking, oh, the identity. Do I know it's Tony Stark or not? That sort of thing. There he is, the Mandarin. I did it. I love that. Very dramatic. Bit like old Spidey one, isn't it? When you've got everything collapsing around him. It's a very dramatic sort of scene there. And there, of course, he's inside the factory. Now, the artwork is superb. Of course, Gene Colan, brilliant artist. Superb colour as well. The colour quality is great. Though, of course, lots of people turn around and say, it's not as the originals. I agree, totally. I wish they would do it in the old style as well as doing it this. And then people would decide, couldn't they, whether they prefer to get it restored or cleaned up or just in this format. This time, the Mole Man, good old Mole Man. And obviously the various mole people as well, or whatever they were called, something like that. And also the Melter turns up, quite an old-time villain of Iron Man. Initially, of course, he could only melt iron. In this case, he can now melt virtually anything. Though it always confuses a bit when he's using it, as he points, and you've got melts, obviously people. I wonder if does that melt the clothes as well? Maybe there's a melting clothes feature. That would probably be an interesting storyline. In a slightly different way, wouldn't it? But he, of course, blasts how matchless my power is. And that's always a problem for him, always gloating over, instead of just finishing him off. That would be easier, but no, he obviously gets him to work on the gun. I don't think that was the best idea, even standing over someone who's a genius like Tony Stark. Really? You don't think he's going to do a few? But anyway, the thing is, you've got, of course, the great opportunity for some nostalgia as well, quickly having him in the golden armour that he had, obviously, Tales of Suspense, issue 40, 41, etc. And then off that story to another one, to the vastness of Vietnam, a modern-day Marvel masterwork. They always love putting that. Gene Colan's still brilliant artwork, of course, as ever. But this time, you've got not the Crimson Dynamo, you've got the Titanium Man, and also Half-Face as well turns up. And who else have we got here? Oh, he's got problems again with his chest plate. How many times? Why didn't he just have a backpack with power supply? That would have been so much easier. Of course, he would have always forgotten about that and that the power run out there. But there he is again, Crimson Dynamo. Always pretty. I guess people would rip it off, wouldn't they? The Grey Gargoyle. Not one of my favourite characters. And there's also scenes whenever there's... Why is it some characters, when they get turned into stone, they, like, literally stone... Iron Man doesn't. He can still think, he can still do this. I suppose maybe it's the actual metal gets turned into stone. He doesn't get turned into stone inside. Maybe that's the case. But you got, of course, just going to be turned into stone at that point. And what it says here, look, it looks like a pen, sir. It's one of the most powerful weapons from, of course, S.H.I.E.L.D. Ah, no, it's Sitwell. Sitwell's the most powerful. And you can see there, of course, Grey Gargoyle. And then on to Whiplash. So you've got a range of different characters on Whiplash. And, of course, Mercy of the Magyar. And then we're on to that. The Mercy of the Magyar. And the Whiplash is still turning. And Alone Against AIM. Or what a way to start out in your own mag. Now, that must have meant that was issue 1. Issue 1, because there was that weird crossover one. Never could understand that. Would have been nice, maybe they gave a bit of information about what they were thinking when they did an Iron Man and Submariner. Because they didn't bring out a Hulk and Captain America one, did they? Very odd. Why did they just do an Iron Man one and Submariner? But still, minor point there. And on to, of course, another little introduction. This is always the thing that slightly bugs me, the Omnibus editions. I wish they would have an actual proper introduction, a rewritten one. Instead, they always just take them generally from the Marvel Masterworks. So it would be nice if they, or in some, this one's got talking about the George Tuska book there, and also Tomorrow's Publishing, always excellent. However, on to now Johnny Craig, my favourite. I really, really love Johnny Craig's work. Of course, EC Comics, brilliant. But the story, The Demolisher, not one of the best. But you can see it's a battle between a robot and obviously Iron Man. And then you're on to, what's it? Oh, we've got the Crusher again. Is it Crusher? Oh, no. Oh, let's go back here. What's the story? The Freak. I meant the Freak. I was thinking Crusher. The Crusher turns up. Well, there were quite a few stories where it was basically a very powerful Crushers, Freaks, ended up blending into one. And then the Unicorn. Now, the Unicorn's always been one of those characters that really, I think, works best probably in a team than be obviously his own. And you can see him there doing obviously some very, the role of the Unicorn, blah, blah, blah. And of course, what they've done, they powered him up with something. But now, unfortunately, he's got a complication, a bit like Wonder Man. He's basically going to die. He's going to die fairly quickly if he doesn't get injections. Well, that means, of course, he goes and teams up with a really trustworthy character. You've got this guy, again, which is really sad, because Johnny Craig was a favourite of mine. Lots of Johnny Craig, brilliant artwork. But some of the stories like this, really, it just wasn't that great. They were not favourites of mine. I have to say, they were just not ones. And then, here we're on to the Crusher. Not the Freak, but the Crusher. Vengeance cries the Crusher. This guy's been underground for a while. I was thinking, and even at the time I remember reading it, I was thinking, how did he actually survive? I mean, he's still pretty big. Did he have a food source down there as well? Maybe he did. However, air, light, etc. And then we've got the Magyar strikes. And of course, you've got good old Gladiator, a character from Daredevil. And actually quite a good character. I think the battle against Iron Man, obviously with his sort of Gladiator, spinning around there. Causes a lot of problems for Iron Man. A duel must end. A duel must end. You got it on there. And again, you've obviously got him battling away. I've got enough pressure on those power discs, and they could even penetrate my armour. This is the thing I always love about Marvel Omnibus. They've always got socket to shell head, and obviously before that was something else. But these are just great to read people's comments about various issues, of course, a couple of issues before. And this one probably is talking about Iron Man 1. And we're on to the Hulk. Now, the Hulk story is not really a Hulk story. It's the Mandarin. I'm sorry, it's a bit of spoiler. Of course, there's a few spoilers in this in the sense of you know what's coming up. But of course, Iron Man survived. He's still going, so you know that. Don't want to. But you got this. Who's this character? I have no idea. He's just a non-character, basically. Living or not stone is stone. And it doesn't look particularly good for Iron Man at that point. But of course, as always, he finished Mandarin again. Mandarin was always a great character. Appeared quite a lot in the early stories. I don't know if he's such a regular character now. Maybe he's a hero now. Who knows? The coming of the Controller. That was a great story. I love that one. Of course, the Controller ended up being a lackey, or probably that's a bit unfair for him, but he was, of Thanos, of course, in Captain Marvel. And of course, there he is. He's obviously got his control discs that he would put on people, and he, of course, tries it with Iron Man as well. Bad mistake. And another, of course, George Tuska, by George Tuska, which is always great, I think, just to have a little bit, obviously, and that was from 2009. And then The Night Phantoms Walks. I love that story. Remember picking that up at newsagents. Just brilliant. Night Phantom. Wow, what a great story that was, as far as I was concerned. And on to the next one. Oh, finally, we're on to the unicorn. He's met up with a red ghost. The red ghost, apparently, obviously got a few issues, but he needs a bit more cosmic rays in this story. So cosmic rays, and he's still got his super apes. That's a great little line. Actually, that was one of my favourite bits, actually. You've got the apes there. It's always nice to see the apes come back. And on to there, Madam Mask. And another, there's always great scenes there. I love that. It's always, again, another melting ray there. Oh, I did it. The switch will, all those kind of things. And What Price Life. It's pretty gruesome. And you can see, obviously, a recap of all the various characters he's obviously faced. Obviously there, the Titanium Man, obviously, and a few other characters. I have no idea who he is. And of course, Death there as well turns up, who serves Lucifer. And Lucifer, of course, was an X-Men villain as well. And there he is. Lucifer. I don't know if they actually mentioned the X-Men story, but then The Replacement. What's that one? Oh, okay. No, I must admit, that's not one I particularly remember reading, but I'm certain I have read it over the years, probably in the epics or in original, of course, years and years ago. And The Titanium Man and Crimson Dynamo, obviously a slight variation of the original Crimson Dynamo. On to the next story. Oh, this character, a bit of a non-character, I must admit. I don't think he ever turned up again, but he's got his power where he obviously blasts people, the Dazzler. Slightly, obviously, was used later for another character. My son, the Minotaur. And he's my son, of course, he's more than a match, etc., etc. And Doomland, Dying Sea. That's pretty gruesome. The End. And on to, Submariner turns up in this one. It's a nice bit of artwork there. You've got Submariner. So says the Submariner. As always, they always put one of these ones. Not Brand Ek. And this one's got featuring Spider-Man versus, obviously it's not the complete, not Brand Ek, but it's just a bit with Iron Man. Magnut Robot Biter. Let's come with some extras. You've got Iron Man and Captain America, Tales of Suspense, and also another inked page there, the other Iron Man, which of course started the entire volume. And of course, you've got that one, the Night Phantom one, and the Controller as well. Even do this more and more now. They include all the various reprint issues at the back as well. Normally 4 to a page, which is quite nice because I bought quite a few of these ones. Marvel double features and also onto Marvel superheroes as well. And that is it for this book. I think it's a great book. I love Iron Man's story. I am really looking forward to Volume 3. The only thing slightly annoying about the Volume 3 is the fact it's only about 2 weeks or 3 weeks off. I think just bringing this out and then bringing out Volume 3 so quickly afterwards, you think, crumbs, it was £62 for this. At the moment, I think it's lifted about 106. It's quite expensive online. So hopefully at some point that will drop in price because it's, I think, a bit steep. Certainly buying this one and then buying Volume 3 so soon afterwards. But I've got, like I say, Volume 1 and I will definitely be getting Volume 3 and I probably will get Volume 4 as well. I expect whenever that will be coming out. So I'm looking forward to those. Most of the omnibuses now, I've nearly got the ones that I really, really want. I'm still looking for Daredevil 1. Obviously, it's been out before. Also, I'm looking for Captain America 2. I haven't got that. Also, Fantastic Four on Volume 1, Omnibus. I haven't got that. So actually saying that, there are still a few Omnibus editions that I probably will be getting at some point. And that is a run-through of that brilliant Omnibus edition from Marvel. Hope you found this of interest. Are you going to get the book? Have you got any plans to get Iron Man 1, 2 or 3? Also, any other Omnibus editions that you'll be buying anytime soon. Bye.